talks to end the strike action at the South African Bureau of Standards have collapsed. The National Education, Health and Allied Workers Union, Nehawu, says it's now pinning hopes on the intervention of the Trade and Industry and Competition Minister, Parks Dow, to help bridge the gap at the SABS. This as the industrial action now enters its second week, with workers downing tools against the company's restructuring process. They're accusing the employer of unilaterally changing the payment and employment structure without consultation, with concerns that the new plan will have a negative impact on workers' salaries and benefits. Well, for more on this, we cross now to SABC News reporter Katlego, Legodi, who has been covering this story for us. A very good afternoon, Katlego. Still stalemate, no progress, not good at all. Tell us more.
A very good afternoon to you, Nombu, and to our viewers at home. Well, you'll find us back here this week, this being week 2 of these demonstrations by SABS workers. They've downed tools, Nombu, and I must say, the same energy that we picked up last week when we embarked on this demonstration with them in the streets is the same energy that you're seeing behind me as they continue with the demonstrations outside the facilities here, calling for the employer to come back to the bargaining table and just talk to them in a way that will see this strike action just more or less brought to an end. They're saying that as we speak right now, talks have collapsed. They're not getting joy with the employer. And I'm going to bring into the conversation Zolani to just give us a sense of where then you guys are with the employer. So it doesn't look like we're moving where these negotiations are concerned. Talks indefinitely really broken as we speak right now. We see the workers saying that they're not deterred by this stalemate that we see happening here. Maybe bring us up to speed, give us a sense of what is happening here, if indeed really then it's back to the drawing board for both parties.
No, good afternoon, Katlego, and good afternoon to the viewers at home. We can confirm indeed that nothing has changed since we spoke Friday in terms of the negotiations breaking down, and that was purely because of the employer was very arrogant and they could not move from the same thing they were presenting. And workers actually are saying we're determined, even as we enter the second week, that the operations of SABS that have crippled, they are going to continue to do so until such time they come to their senses. And what we are asking really is not too much. It's actually to see to it that SABC complies with own processes. And those processes are that they've got scales that are approved, their own scale. And they also admit that over 100 workers are paid below those scales. And we say correct that. And also implement the recommendation of the expert report that was issued to say workers must move to the midpoint of the scale. And all of that is not a Nehawu process, but is their own process. So they commission a process, the outcomes come, and they fail to implement. And workers are saying no more to poverty wages anymore. And until such time our demands are met, we are not coming back to our desks.
Yeah, let's talk about the impact. We know very well that it's been a week of no activity here in terms of testing and compliance, and we hear that there are implications as well in terms of what is happening across the country. What is the impact? What has been the impact so far?
The impact is so huge, such that it doesn't matter how much they can try to spin the propaganda that is business as usual. It is not business as usual, because there is no other institution in South Africa that does the work that SABS is doing, because this is a statutory issue that is governed by the Standard Act to see to it that products and services that are linked to the safety of the public are tested. These things, they ranges from water, food, pharmaceutical products, electrical products, and everything that is sold. It needs to be tested here in order to make sure that it is fit for public consumption. So for the most of entire week last week, samples are just standing as they were. No one is processing them. All the test officers in all the labs are here. There is no one left there except managers and test team leaders who are responsible for these labs. And the net effect of that is that, look at, for instance, a condom lab. A lab such as that one is unable to process that because of the compressor has collapsed. Facilities is unable to produce conditions that are fit for testing, such as temperature, humidity, and the necessary water. hospitals, they send here distilled water, they send radioactive materials to be tested here, and that is not happening. So the impact is so huge such that the safety of the public is compromised by the ongoing nature of the strike.
And let's talk about the minister. The minister is back in the country, and we know very well that from last week you've been saying that you want an audience with him. There is that talk as well around the secondary strike action, where you want entities, all entities under the DTIC to more or less put in a notice as well and come and join the SABS workers on the picket lines. Give us a sense of where that is, and if indeed you'll be seeking an audience with the minister over what is happening here.
Absolutely, Katlego. We really, try to get an audience with the minister, because what is happening here is in the public interest, and therefore the minister has got a responsibility to intervene and try to see to it that this is ended in the interest of the public. Hence, last week, our General Secretary wrote a letter to the minister to say intervene on what is happening in the SABC, and even broadly on, SABS, and broadly on what is happening in the TTI cluster as well. So we are waiting. We hope that this week the minister will really intervene, because if not, we have already secured a date with the Metropolis to march to the offices of the minister next week on the 8th as part of intensification. We have also issued a directive to all our branches in the TTI cluster to join the strike in a form of a secondary strike in furtherance of this protected strike, and those branches have started the process of engaging with their respective members in order to mobilize them for the secondary strike. The first of such meetings is sitting today here at NRCS, where they are having PGMs who are talking, and immediately after the mobilization of that members, they will issue a notice for 7 days, and that will happen with the 7 other branches to make sure that next week we will no longer be talking about an SABS strike. We will be talking about a strike that will affect the entire TTI cluster branches.
Zolani Masoleng, thank you very much, sir, for your time. He's coming through there as the branch secretary here in Tshwane of Nehawu, and you hear him saying that it's all systems go when you look at what they've been doing in applying pressure, whereby they're calling for the management to come back to the table. We'll try by all means to engage with the management, but we've not been getting joy, Nompu, from them this afternoon, as they try by all means to also make sense of what is happening here. But you see the workers saying that they're not going back on duty unless then they get a favorable offer, this being from the employers. Back to you in studio for now, Nompu.